And so Friday closes off with another red day for Bitcoin. Bitcoin down 38,900. Can't hold the 39,000 mark. We've got Fantom hovering around 90 cents. Yes, we've hit the exact negative price target, which I didn't want to be right on, which I shared with you guys when Fantom was at 168. Guys, we are back down at 90 cents. And this is why you have to know how to monitor the chart. But in this moment of gloom where so many of us crypto people are saying, buy the dip, build up your conviction in these projects, I'm going to give you one piece of light at the end of the tunnel, which I've seen could get you feeling that this pain might be starting to come to an end. But before that, let's understand what's going on in the market, because obviously we can see Bitcoin is trading down. And you can see Bitcoin is having another red day, down 2%. Fantom thrown down 6% today. If you haven't caught up on all the content which I've been posting, guys, you have to. There's been a whole bunch of content, which if you're missing all the trends, right? So go and watch the Simone Pomposi interview, the CMO of Fantom. Make sure you go watch that. I also posted an update yesterday on Fantom officially burning tokens. Yes, 30% of all transaction fees are being burnt on the Fantom ecosystem. So 0.14% of the Fantom supply has been burnt since December 19, when the mainnet was launched. Make sure you go watch that video. Then go watch the video about Andre Cronje, because Andre Cronje yesterday, one of the lead developers of Fantom, somebody who says he created Fantom at the time and who famously left, and Fantom really struggled since then, he broke the silence and shared the truth about Fantom and Solidly. Go watch that video and then you're caught up. So go watch those videos. Really important that you watch those videos so you know exactly what is going on, because a lot is going on in this market right now. So before we get into the charts, I have something really, really interesting to show you, which involves the dollar index and Bitcoin, and a really interesting moment is coming up. But I do want to share what the markets are doing. And we got the Dow Jones down 1.14%. You've got 1.7 on the S&P and almost 2%, 1.8% here on the Nasdaq in another strong red day. And now the benchmark heads for the worst month since March 2020, guys. S&P, worst month since March 2020. That's the COVID dip. And this is where the market is right now. We saw GDP come in yesterday, down 1.4%. Technically, remember, 2 negative quarters of GDP equals the definition of a recession. There's a lot of fears around global slowdown. There was fears around the Russia-Ukraine tensions. There's fears around supply chain, fears around softening demand. And earnings have come through, and Amazon then booked a loss. And Amazon shares sank 12% yesterday, and that's the worst day it's had in 8 years. Now, to be fair to Amazon, a lot of their loss was because they had to realize a loss in Rivian, which is the electric cars company which they acquired. So they had to market that loss. But they did say that there could be weakening pressures in Q3, as did Apple. So tech is getting a sell-off. There's a little bit of panic going on. Obviously, we had the weak Netflix earnings as well. So that is kind of where the market is right now in terms of that. That's why we're getting redness. And we know when risk is off, crypto and Bitcoin is going to be down. And that's why we're seeing Bitcoin struggling to hold the 39,000 mark. Right, enough doom and gloom. What is the hope? What is the light at the end of the tunnel? Tell me, Ijaz. Well, the light at the end of the tunnel is the following. I want to take you across to the dollar index. And the DXY is the dollar index. And it's considered the it's a weighted basket of dollars. It just shows you how strong is the dollar. Think of it like that. That's enough for this video. How strong is the dollar? Now, when you monitor this, you notice 2 things. This is the monthly chart we're looking at. These are monthly candles. What were the 2 key areas where we got rejected on the DXY? The first one was here, okay? January 2017. Remember that. January 2017 was the first time we got rejected on the DXY at a high of 103. We then got rejected again. Where did we get rejected? March 2020. This is March 2020. Let's see if I can bring this up for you guys so you can see dates at the bottom here. There we go. Perfect. That's March 2020. That was the second time we got rejected. Now let's go look at what Bitcoin was doing when the DXY was getting rejected. Let's take a look. And what we can see, let's go onto a clean chart. Let's not use this. Let's use this one. This one's a little bit better. And what I want to show you here on the monthly is let's go and find. Oh, can't use this chart. They don't have enough data on there. This one will do. Let's go all the way back and find where we were in 2017. And if we go to Jan 2017, that's this candle right here. On this candle, Bitcoin in Jan 2017 was $1,000. But that's exactly when that bull run started. It was the trigger for when the bull run was started, was that the Dixie was rejected. And since then, we ran all the way up to 20,000 in the next run. And by the time we were there on that 20,000, we hit 20,000 at the end of December. That triggered a good year-long bull market, a 12-month bull market on Bitcoin, 20xing from 1,000 to 20,000. Now, what was the other time we said that the Dixie was rejected? It was in March 2020, during the COVID pandemic. Now, let's fast forward. Here's your March 2020. Here's your March 2020 candle. And on March 2020, we had a low of Bitcoin of 3.8K. March 2020, just before COVID, Bitcoin's at 3,800. And what did that move set up? It set up this huge move all the way up to our highs here, the highs at the time there of 64,000 in April 2021. Again, about 12 months of a strong bull market from March to March the year after. Big move from about 3.8K all the way up to 64K. And the key being both of those moments were exactly where the Dixie was getting. Okay, very important. Now, let's look at the Dixie now. The question now arises, we're seeing a big, strong month here for the Dixie. Are we going to continue to see that? Are we going to break out because we've got rejected from this level twice here? Or are we going to start to see this move to the downside? Now, if we zoom in a little bit and start heading to the daily chart, we can still see things are still curling up, but we're getting to that level now. Are we going to see this fall? Is the GDP, the negative GDP growth, going to show a tick to the downside? Because we know the dollar index tends to be correlated to GDP. So if GDP is softening, the dollar index should be softening. This should start to become rejected. That could be a positive omen for our next bull run for crypto. Very interesting. A lot going on. Definitely something we need to monitor. Now, what's going on with Bitcoin back in the short term? Well, back on our daily chart, we're still in this same situation, right? Let me just get zoomed in and show you guys the normal view, which we're used to. Let's bring this into the middle. And what you can see is we are low here. We've got a nice red candlestick, right? After 2 days of a little bit of positive, we ran all the way up here as high as 40,000, but then we've got rejected back down again. But we're now testing. You can see the lows here where we were wicking here are starting to test this pivot point here. So we need to keep an eye on the pivot point at about 37, 37.5. Then we've got our next level at 37 flat. Then we have to worry about the bottom of the wedge. Okay, so we continue to hold this level. This is still okay. We're still technically in a bit of an uptrend, although it's becoming more and more of a sideways trend in this short pattern here. But if this starts curling over, then things start to become a little bit more worrying. Now, what are we seeing on Fantom? Because you guys will know that on Fantom, I had my price target. If I just get us zoomed out, I'm going to switch across to the 4 hourly because it's a little bit more clear on the 4 hourly. You remember that when we were trading in this pattern, I mentioned we have a bearish continuation pattern. I mentioned when we were 168, Fantom's at 168. We had a green candle after green candle here, and people were FOMOing in. I mentioned very clearly that the technical price target is 90 cents, okay? Now, at the time, the fundamentals weren't showing that 90 cents is possible, but then as we started playing this pattern out, the fundamentals started matching, right? We had fears around interest rates. The Fed came out. We had all the conversations around quantitative tightening. Russia and Ukraine issue didn't improve itself. Now we've got a weak GDP figure. And now finally, you can see Fantom down at 90 cents. And this is the importance of waiting for pullbacks. I can't stress this enough, guys. It's when you look at it in this chart like this, it's so obvious. Huge downtrend over the long macro. And then you want to be able to catch here. You don't want to buy here. You don't want to buy on the trend. You want to buy on the dips. I bought here, and I made it very clear to you guys. I bought here at 103, 104. We spoke about that here at the bottom of here. And now we continue to dollar cost average here at 90 cents. That's what I'm doing because I've got conviction. You don't want to chase it at 160. When the market is fearful, that's when I want to get to work. Going back to what I was showing you, you want to be buying Bitcoin at 1,000 in Jan 17, right? You want to be buying Bitcoin at 3,800 in March 20. You do not want to be buying Bitcoin at 20K. You do not want to be buying Bitcoin at 64K after the runs. And that's what we need to do here. The market's in extreme fear. It's 23. The whole market, the stock market, the global economy, crypto is all in extreme fear right now. And that is where we need to start pulling up our sleeves, building convictions in high conviction plays. No time for any memes right now. No time for any low market cap projects. High conviction plays that are going to be here are going to be far greater price years from now when we set it and we forget it. And for me, Fantom, Solana, Cardano, Luna, build out your favorite positions. Avalanche, these are amazing projects with amazing technology getting battered. And I can say the same in the stock market. We don't cover the stock market much on this channel, but the stock market is the same. You're getting great companies getting battered just because of overall sentiment. There's nothing wrong with those individual cryptos, right? There's no reason Solana's trading at 96 right now when it's been much higher. There's no reason that Luna's trading at 87. It was at 119 just a short period ago. And I said, wait for those pullbacks. They're going to come. Avalanche sitting at 65, right? You got my favorite three, Matic, Dot, Link. How could you not have those in your portfolio, particularly at the price? But you got Chainlink at $12. Do you guys know? Andre Cronje said it in his interview the other day. If you switched off Chainlink, do you know how much an effect it has on all smart contract platforms that are integrated with Chainlink? Dead, finished. They need the data feeds coming in. What use is a smart contract platform without a data oracle provider? But the market hype hasn't come to it, right? It's just not there yet. It will come. These are solid projects that have seen the test of time. And you can keep going, you can see all these great projects, even Bitcoin itself, sitting at the new price floor, right? If this is the new price floor, if this is the new 1,000 from Jan 17, or if this is the new 3,800 from March 20, are you going to miss this opportunity as well? That's what we need to ask ourselves. And we can only answer that by seeing if we have enough conviction. Now, of course, I understand what is the natural question everybody's going to have is like, yeah, but what if it falls to 20? What if it falls to 20? You know, that's always going to be the case. Everybody's always going to tell you it's going to fall a little bit more, right? When it was at 1,000, everyone's like, nah, it's going to go to 200. It's going to go to $500, right? When it was sitting at 3,800, the peak of COVID, with all the panic, the whole world shutting down, everyone's like, no, Bitcoin's going to go to, 1,000. It's going to go to, it's going to keep falling. If you keep waiting, you're going to miss the run from 3.8 thousand. So get on the train. It doesn't matter where you're sitting. You might be standing on the train. Just get on the train. Don't miss it again. You've already missed it multiple times. That's the key, and that only comes from conviction. So not financial advice. Go do your research, build your conviction, get cash, allocate it into solid long-term projects which you generally think are going to make a difference in the crypto world, and you can sit back and relax, dollar cost average, build out those positions. So there you have it, guys. There is the light at the end of the tunnel here on crypto. It's been a very difficult week and a difficult few months. But if you guys are managing to see the course, if these videos are helping you to see the course, make sure you hit up the like button and subscribe. This journey you're going through, particularly if you're new to crypto, is going to be something that stays with you for life, because this psychology you cannot buy with money, you cannot read in a book, you cannot get from a YouTube video. You need to own it, you need to go for it, you need to see the red in the market, you need to see the blood, and you need to click order and click buy and dollar cost average and check your conviction and check your emotions, and that is going to stand you well for your future investing pragmatically, sustainably in crypto. As always, guys, smash up the like button and subscribe. Don't forget, if you like my perspectives, consider checking out the course member live streams, ijaz.uk/member, where you get more of this type of content. Plus, you can ask questions, exactly what you need help on in the market, technical analysis, fundamental analysis, tokenomics, macroeconomics, critique your portfolio, and a whole bunch of other stuff. ijaz.uk/member. Get involved over there. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in